Hey guys, it's the weekly AI News Roundup, and we've got a whole bunch of really interesting stories for you to listen to. We don't actually have that many disagreements this week, so kind of a bit of a letdown from my point of view, but I'm sure we're going to have some arguments in future episodes. If you don't want to miss out on those, hit the subscribe button and have our everlasting love. Anyway, enjoy the episode.
And the game has started on who is going to talk first.
And today it was John.
What a riveting moment.
Excellent. Welcome to this week's AI Weekly News Roundup with all the AI news that you probably missed. And I don't know what we're going to have first. Mike, as usual, has put together an excellent collection of stories for us. Picked it out from the ones that are submitted on Discord, which everybody should be joining. First story. Submitted by a friend of mine. Yeah, thank you for subscribing. We love all our subscribers, and if you want us to love you too, hit that subscribe button. This was actually submitted by a friend of mine, Xpoo. Actually, I've never said his nickname out loud, so Xpoo. I think it must be Xpoo. AI is killing the old web, and the new web struggles to be born, which is quite, apt, given that it's AI seems to be this new life form that's coming into being.
It wasn't clear to me from reading this article what the new web is. So he talked about how originally it was content generated by users on their own websites. Then it was platforms that kind of aggregated all the content. But I don't get what he's saying is that I assume he's talking about the AI generated web. But the article kind of is about how the quality of AI generated content is low and it's not a good experience. So that's not like, is that what AI is keeping from being born? Didn't totally understand what the new web was in this scenario.
So how would you guys feel if like most of the content that you read was from an AI, but good quality?
I would still feel a bit slighted, I guess. Would there be clear indications that it was AI made?
Yeah, but I mean, does it matter? Does it matter to you? Why?
Yeah, it does matter. So, because I have a bias towards humans.
Okay.
And I like when humans make things. And as soon as you involve the artistic or the writing aspect, which I guess is art in itself, but the artistic aspect is now originating from AI, it feels soulless or like cheap or like a mimic of what's actually out there. And we're already seeing this. It's a huge problem already on YouTube and TikTok, right? You're on shorts, you're on YouTube shorts or on TikTok, you're scrolling. Every third or fourth video is now AI generated in some capacity. It could be the art, it could be the chat, like the text to speech, the speech to text, right? Like everything is now basically a series of API calls and automated uploading. Like it's actually crazy simple how easy this would be, right? Like because all of it is just being fetched from Reddit. Reddit's really the only place left to get maybe human created content. So they look at am I the asshole, which is super common, and that's a subreddit where you can ask, am I the asshole for doing this? And they say in the last 20 Mike, you're muted. In the last 24 hours.
I was just agreeing with
you just mouthed agreed. Wow, creepy. So here's how I would do it. Last 24 hours, I pull am I the asshole? I take the top post and I take the body of the post. I send that to like a text to speech generator, like the one I've shown you guys, and I output that on top of some bullshit game like the Subway Runner or whatever it's called, and like subtitles. Boom.
TikTok. I don't know
viral video.
Those
or the
TikToks
Minecraft
are so weird.
I feel like you just kind of argued against yourself, though, John. So Peter likes this argument of if you can't tell the difference, doesn't really matter.
I do.
And I guess, no, except you can tell the difference. And I don't think you'll ever not be able to tell the difference. Except what you just said, John, is that you like to know that it's human generated and then it's real, but then you gave a bunch of examples of stuff that's human generated but not real. So the example I was thinking of is if you, ghostwriting books or songs written for artists by other people, or staged videos that are purporting to be candids. So we have all these cases where the content's not what it's purporting to be. Yes, but that's irritating. But does that matter? I mean, if it's shit content made by humans or shit content made by AI, does it really matter? You're being misled either way.
Sure.
I think I like Mike's point. And by the way, can I say that I actually have a bias for humans as well, because of the same reason that John does, because they were subtly different articles. You can sort of tell it's that uncanny valley of content, right?
Yeah.
It's just something's a little bit off or formulaic or whatever about it. But my sort of hypothetical was, if it was as good as the content that we get, like, I reckon CNN articles or BBC articles would be fairly easy for an AI to accurately mimic, like the tone and the kind of, because they're very fixed. We're spending a lot of time talking about this one story, though.
Right. Yeah. True.
Yeah. So, we will have the same conversation again. A pair of stories here in a row talking about authors suing OpenAI because their books were used to train ChatGPT without their consent, going to the idea that, like, if the books are available online, and we've talked about this idea of copyright violations a couple times. Sarah Silverman suing OpenAI for the same reason. If the books are online, they're included in the training sets, whether they're online on purpose, by accident, legally or illegally. But even if it's not books, ChatGPT is still consuming it and using it as a training set. So it could just be a website that's copyrighted. Books seem a little bit more clear cut, but that's what we're dealing with here.
So in this article specifically, Sarah Silverman, I believe, is quoted, or at least her lawyers are quoted, as talking about is it called Genesis? So there is a torrent site specifically made for books. And there's a couple of them that are really big, and they mentioned them as a sort of, like, they used these, a private tracker, and so private trackers and public trackers for torrents, all these sites do is provide you with a link, to where you can find the torrent, right? Like, it's like a sort of an announcement system, the way torrents works. So you get a magnet link. I download the link and open it in a torrent client, and my client now knows, like, go look for the seed announcers for this file who are sharing this file. And then my client will slowly build together the file with thousands and thousands of bits, as the name suggests, BitTorrent. So they mentioned that as if OpenAI and all of these, like, in Facebook, used torrents to train their models, which is wrong. They didn't. It would be actually kind of hard to do that. Like, because what they're then saying is download every available torrent on these sites, which is petabytes. Okay, and sure, they can support that storage data, but still, like, my God, and then train the model on that. Like, that just wouldn't happen. Not only is it's so all of these trackers, as the name suggests, they're tracked. Anyone can track the torrent, including the, what are they called? The MPAA, the media association, who, like, sues and, like, does cease and desists regarding to piracy.
Movie and Picture Association.
That's the one, Movie and Picture. Yeah. They track all of these torrents. So if OpenAI or Facebook all of a sudden downloaded every book in existence, they would be sued to the ground by the media, like the picture. Yeah, anyway, so I just thought it was really
But that section of the article says the reason they think it's tied to this is because Meta released a paper detailing how Llama was trained, and they point to one of the sources for the training set being the pile, which is the beginning of this chain that you just outlined. So
Oh my God, that's crazy if that's actually
It sounds
true.
like they kind of maybe actually are doing that.
Holy moly. Like, we're talking about, I mean, publishers, like big publishers, like what's that Penguin publisher? I think it's out of London, Peter.
Random House.
Yeah. Like, we're talking about giants being
Do
able
you
to
know what
step
the
in
thing
and
is
sue.
that? Okay, I didn't actually. I missed that detail about them
Same.
saying that's how they did it. But I would think it's more likely that they just scraped it on the open web. That there's a page out there that you can.
That's exactly, that was what I predicted 3-4 weeks ago. Remember, I quoted the whole. I told you guys about like the quote something in the Lord of the Rings and on page 40 of the first edition, and it totally did. And like it's read Lord of the Rings. ChatGPT has read Lord of the Rings. ChatGPT has read most bestsellers, if not all bestsellers, because they're all available on some random site in plain text.
Here's a actually no, I probably shouldn't give away tips on how to pirate things on our public YouTube channel. So, but there's easy ways to search Google for like open directories of like illegal copies of books. And
there's a dedicated subreddit for hunting for this.
Like, literally exactly.
Called our open directory.
Whatever.
Like,
the end doesn't matter, right? How they actually got it isn't that important. If they've got copyright material that they use for training, I think that's the key thing. Although I suppose maybe the intent was different. Like if you're using specifically a torrenting site that has like, here's a copyrighted book for you to download, then
a service that is specifically for pirated books and research papers and anything that's text, comic books, anything. All right, let's go.
Mike's playing the
yeah. He wants to go next.
All right.
Yeah.
Playing
this is a cool thing that I saw. Yeah, right. This is a cool thing I saw on Hacker News. PDF GPT indexer, which it's a GitHub link, so it looks a bit boring. But basically what it is a way to train an LLM, a large language model, for use with like ChatGPT, on your own documents. So it's a way to, it looks very cool. There was a really interesting discussion about this as well, and about having like a personal model, personal AI and personal model and stuff.
Yeah, so you mentioned the GitHub link not being, visually attractive, but the other link you shared was the Hacker News thread.
Much better. Hacker News is so pretty.
I'm not trying to imply that
these were the two options you gave me, Peter.
Yeah. No, Mike, that was not.
Should we have drawn it? Should we have drawn it in like MS Paint? Like GPT index, like as a headline in Microsoft Paint.
Yeah, that was not digging you, mate. No. It's just that GitHub repositories for a lot of people are going to be like whatever. But yes, it's an interesting concept. This is one of the things that I want. I really want there to be a way to have an LLM that you trained on your own stuff and doesn't like suck stuff up from
and is locally hosted. That's one of the most attractive things about GPT for me, is that we're now going to get into this like. You can have an LLM at home on your server doing everything. You can teach it how to handle your Internet of Things. Like, it's going to be so cool. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I think it could be powerful for businesses to have LLMs trained on Discord, Slack or Teams, their knowledge base, their code base, their internal PDFs and documentation. I think that could be super useful.
A company expert available for all employees at any moment to ask a question. Yeah.
There was one really interesting thing about it though, which was that was noted in the Hacker News comments, which was that once you have this LLM that's built on your own documents and your own kind of content that you've created, and if you give it all your private documents as well,
right?
That, like, when it comes to law enforcement, if they got access to that model, they then
it's a perfect audit tool.
It's a very sci-fi kind of situation where they can hack the LLM to see your innermost thoughts. What would this person do in this situation? They've got a model of your brain.
Yeah.
Like is John
business brain?
Like, well, is John likely to kill cats or
like commit fraud? You're always so
commit fraud.
Examples, Peter.
Sorry.
Interesting example.
You're always like, will John commit genocide tomorrow? Like, no.
But
will he?
I mean, find out tomorrow, I guess. So I can see a big problem I have with these GPT clones, if we can call them that, is do you remember GPT for All from a couple months ago?
Oh, no.
So this GitHub, this just came out of nowhere, but was posted on Hacker News, and it was this massive collection of making your own local GPT and training it. And it very quickly amassed like thousands of stars on GitHub. Everyone was playing with it, and it was kind of broken, but obviously it would be because you're trying to train your own GPT. But then they discovered that they were doing like clandestine calls to ChatGPT. So
yes, I remember. Yeah. There have been a couple like that.
I'm very scared. I'm very suspect of this specific, the GPT indexer, without like, I want to give it a few months, see what people way smarter than me uncover. And, you know, maybe then it will actually be super viable to use. But for now, I'm very suspect.
And just to not let this go without being said, it's still going to be subject to the same problems of inaccuracy that these large language models already have. Yeah. So you'd want to be a little bit careful about that.
Yeah.
Okay, final story in the AI Roundup. Microsoft is finally putting Cortana for Windows out of our misery.
All it took was a technological revolution to get rid of fucking Cortana finally. Jesus Christ. This is the first thing I turn off whenever I install Windows.
Whenever, and you know, I do the same thing whenever I get a new MacBook. It's like, do you want to enable Siri? And I cannot click no fast enough. I don't want you. The only thing I want is my phone on it. I don't want my fucking Windows machine to have Cortana. No, fuck off.
Do you use it on your Windows phone?
I'm surprised you want. Yeah, I'm surprised.
I wish Windows. No, I don't use Cortana. I use Google Assistant, obviously.
I'm very surprised that you trust Google Assistant to listen to you.
For now, I mean, until I can replace it with something almost as good, because it is so good.
That's really interesting. I think we found one of those situations where you're kind of proving Mike's point that nobody cares about privacy if it's useful enough.
No, I never said that. I said I've always had the long-standing opinion that privacy is a pick and choose type of battle. Always.
Okay. All right.
No, for real. What do you think? Are you not going to use Google, right? Like, are you not going to use google.com? Are you going to use Brave Search and DuckDuckGo and get shit results? Like, as soon, you know how many times I had to bang Google on DuckDuckGo because the results were so ass? This is a problem. By the way,
if anybody doesn't know, that's referring to the use of the exclamation mark in a search on Brave or DuckDuckGo, which redirects you to
Google, because your results are ass, and that's tough, right? Like, I'm sorry that Google is really bad regarding privacy, while simultaneously having the single best search engine in the world.
That's a whole other episode. That's a set of episodes.
Sure. Why didn't you like and comment? That's the vibe that gives me, Mike.
All right. Well, that's it for this week's roundup, I guess.